Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 161, Acid Reflux in the Senses. Today we're going to talk about the sense of sight. This is day one of our series on acid reflux and the senses, and I'm honestly going to tell you we're starting with sight because it's probably the hardest one to relate to acid reflux. So let's start with our basics. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Take a deep breath in, expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand your sinuses in your head and tuck your tailbone. Deep breath in and release. And think about any garbage you've got going on. I got bit by mosquitoes all over the place yesterday. They have just been loving me this season. So I'm going to breathe into my mosquito bites, take a deep breath in, and release. All right, so we are starting a week-long series on acid reflux and the senses. And part of this is because we've kind of covered like eating and exercise and sleep, and we'll come back to some of those topics. I was thinking of revisiting sleep this week, but I decided we're going to kind of pay attention to pain points because we're working with the healing equation. Energy to heal equals good energy in minus stressors. And we're just kind of starting a way of going through some common stressors that we all have. Hi, Jim. It's very nice to see you here. And we're going to start through these just common stressors that we all carry, because originally when I started Bodyful, it was about how to get you out of your head and calm the system down. And now, as we've been quarantined longer, it's not to say there still isn't stuff here in our head that's messing with our energy to heal, but let's talk about concrete things, less about stress and more about what concrete stressors do we have. And so this is the concrete stressor of acid reflux. Last week, the concrete stressor was of rib pain. And as I said, to be honest, it is really hard to connect sight with acid reflux unless the sight of a particular food triggers instant acid reflux in you. And that's not to say it can't. The human body is a hilarious thing that likes to make associations. We know that Pavlov got his dogs to salivate to a bell. It is not uncommon for you to walk in, if you have discovered that you always have acid reflux when you are eating pizza, to walk in, see the pizza, and already start the process of acid reflux increasing even before you've eaten it. So there are some really amazing things that the body does, but I want to take a step back and just say, okay, if we were to get acid reflux as a baby, we know that babies spit up when their stomach is too full and when there's something in there that they just don't digest right. And babies have different ways of doing that, but either way, projectile baby spit is an indication that there's something going on in their stomach that is not quite right. And if we were to projectile vomit every time we had some sort of acid refluxy thing going on, we might take it a little bit more seriously, but instead it's sort of just this annoyance that we take some over-the-counter stuff for pre-acid reflux, yes, that we just take some acid blockers for that calm the system down and we don't have to worry about it. And the thing is that there really is a number of things going on, and if we were to see it as a much bigger issue, there's a possibility that we would be able to help work on it. Now, today, I'm not going to give you any good tidbits because sight is just sight, but yes, pre-acid reflux, Jim, we can talk about that. The Pavlovian reaction of pre-acid reflux. But I wanted to point out the fact today, to take today more as just sort of a general day, that your acid reflux can be enhanced by other stressors, but it can also be brought down by good energy in. And in fact, our goal, of course, is to have enough energy to heal so we don't have acid reflux. ask yourself this. If you have acid reflux, do you have it when you are on vacation? And I bet you if we asked if you were on vacation and you had like a week of vacation, would you have acid reflux? A number of people would say, and I would say out of 10 people, we would probably be at a 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 people who eat just generally on vacation. They have less acid reflux on vacation than they do when they are in their regular work day, and that is because the stressors of everyday is much high. The stressors of everyday life are much higher than the stressors in vacation life. So the question is, how do we get our vacation digestive system in our everyday life? And a lot of that comes with balancing the stressors, giving ourselves good energy in so that we have more energy to heal, and now we don't have acid reflux. So for today, the concept of sight is that this is an unseen issue. If it were seen, we might put a little bit more emphasis on it, and we might look at it in a global sense. But because it's unseen, it's considered just a nuisance that we get rid of, because we can with acid blockers. But from an alternative medicine approach, the physiological research shows that the cardiac sphincter, which is the sphincter of the stomach up here that blocks the acid from coming up, is actually driven by acid. So when the pH is low enough, this valve closes off. But when the pH is not low enough, so when the pH is above 1, then this valve doesn't close all the way, which means then you have reflux coming up. But if your stomach was acidic enough, then this valve would close. So from an alternative medicine perspective, a lot of alternative medical providers will actually put you on betaine hydrochloride, which is a form of hydrochloric acid, such that when it gets into the stomach, it increases your hydrochloric acid, it increases your acidity, and that acidity level then it increases your acidity level, but in that, when we talk about pH, it brings you down to the pH of 1, which then causes that cardiac sphincter to close, and you don't get acid reflux. So, what do? We've got two different schools of thought. My approach with the healing equation is I'm going to lean more on the alternative side, but I don't care whether or not you get healing from taking your acid blockers versus taking increased acid. My goal is to try to figure out why your body needed any of those in the first place. And so we look at the healing equation. How can we get you back to the state where your energy to heal is enough so that you can have enough acid in your gut to cause your sphincter to close? Or you can digest your food well enough that you don't have to worry about acid reflux happening. Or you can, as we talk about this, Jim, get your brain to stop making the connection between pasta sauce and acid reflux. All right, so that's enough for today. We're going to hit another hard one tomorrow, one that's almost as ancillarily related to acid reflux as is sight. But we're going to hit it in another sense and see if we can figure out a way into that healing equation that will help us help our digestive system so we don't have acid reflux. All right, let's finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. All right, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.